Hello students, in last session we have discussed regarding Coulomb's law, and we know that according to Coulomb's law, if we have 2 point charges q1 and q2 separated by distance r, this distance is r, then magnitude of electrical force acting between these two charges is given by F equal to K q1 q2 upon r square. Here K is known as Coulomb's constant and its value is 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. Okay. So here we have discussed the magnitude. Now today we have to discuss regarding direction of this force. That means we have to discuss regarding Coulomb's law in vector form. So let us start Coulomb's law in vector form. Okay, for that I have to consider Cartesian coordinate system. Here I have two charges. Let us say here is my charge q1 and here is my charge q2. Position vector of charge q1 is vector r1. Position vector of charge q2 is vector r2, and separation between these two, that is q1 and q2, is r. Okay. Now here I can say that if I consider this vector from, this is my point A, this is my point B, from B to A, this direction, then this will be vector r1 minus r2. Okay, its direction is this one. And if I consider vector from A to B, then it will be r2 minus r1. Its direction is from A towards B. You had studied all these things in 11th standard. Okay, so this r1 minus r2 is nothing but, I can say it is my vector r12. So I can say that vector r12 equal to vector r1 minus r2 and vector r21 equal to r2 minus r1. Right? Okay. Now you can understand here both the vectors have same magnitude and opposite direction. So I can say that vector r12 equal to minus vector r21, equal magnitude, opposite direction. Okay. So now if I consider unit vectors, so unit vector r12, we know that unit vectors are always used to mention the direction. So unit vector r12 is equals to vector r12 divided by magnitude of r12. Magnitude of r12 is vector r. So it is vector r12 divided by r. Similarly, unit vector r21 can be written as vector r21 divided by its magnitude. So from these two, r12, r21, they are opposite to each other. So from these two, I can say that unit vector r21 equal to minus unit vector r21. Unit vector r12 equal to unit vector minus r21. This is very important result, and this result we are going to use in further discussion. Okay. Now after considering all this vector analysis, we come back to our original topic, that means force acting on 1 by 2. Okay. So I can say that force acting on charge q2 by q1. Okay. It can be written as force symbol F on force on 2. Which charge is experiencing force? q2. So I will write 2. Who is producing force? 1. So then I have to write 1. So it is symbolized as vector F21. Okay. First digit gives you the charge which experience the force. second digit gives you the charge which produces the force. So force on 2 by 1 is equal to, I have to write magnitude, then I have to write the direction. Okay, now let us check. What should be the direction? Direction of force on 2. This is my charge Q2. Who is producing force? Q1. Here I have considered that both the charges are like charges. That when there will be force of repulsion. So due to force of repulsion, Q1 will push Q2 away. So this is the direction of F21. So F21 will act in this direction. Okay. Now you can see this direction of F21 is same as direction of R2 minus R1, right? So to mention the direction we use unit vector. So direction of F21 is same as direction of R21. So I will write unit vector R21. Okay, how can I why I can write this? Because we know that any vector can be represented by its magnitude and direction. So F21 into unit vector. So what is F21? F21 is magnitude will be K Q1 Q2 upon R square into unit vector R21. So this is your F21. This is my equation number 2. Okay. Similarly, force acting on Q1 by Q2, okay, is force on 1. So on 1 by 2. So F12 equal to magnitude of F12 into direction of F12. Let us check what is the direction. Force on 1 by 2. Again there will be repulsion. So Q2 will push it away. So this is direction of F12. So now you can see this F12 and R12, they are in same direction. So to mention the direction I will use unit vector R12. So I can write it as it is K Q1 Q2 upon R square, product of the charges, and divide by square of the distance. This distance between Q1 and Q2 is R. Okay. And to mention the direction it is R12. Okay. Now but using result 1, okay, using result 1, what result 1 says? Vector R12 equal to minus vector R21. So I can say that vector F12 equal to K Q1 Q2, this one as it is, upon R square. Instead of unit vector R12 I will write minus R21. So this is minus K Q1 Q2 upon R square into unit vector R21. Okay. Now just compare K Q1 Q2 upon R12 into unit vector R21. K Q1 Q2 upon R square into unit vector R21. This is nothing but vector F21. Okay. So I can say that using result number 2, I can say that vector F12 equal to minus vector F21. So now what this result says? This result says that force acting on 1 by 2 and force acting on 2 by 1, they have equal magnitude but opposite direction. That means it is following Newton's third law, action and reaction, equal magnitude, opposite direction. So this is nothing but Coulomb's law in vector form. From this they can ask you the question, explain Coulomb's law in vector form and show that vector F12 equal to minus F21. Is it clear? Now we will start illustration number 1.4. It says that Coulomb's law for an electrostatic force between two point charges and Newton's law for gravitational force between two stationary point masses both have inverse square dependence on the distance between the charges or masses. Compare the strength of force by determining the ratio of their magnitudes for an electron and a proton, and second for two protons. For that, they have given you here mass of proton is given and mass of electron is given. Now let us start it quickly. I have written data here: mass of proton, mass of electron. To calculate gravitational force, we need gravitational constant. So you have to remember this data. It is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. For calculating electric force, we need Coulomb's constant, which is 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. I have to find ratio Fe upon Fg for an electron and a proton. And second, I have to find Fe upon Fg for two protons. Okay. So, first of all, we will consider this one. Okay. So, I have to put the formula for Fe. I have to put the formula for Fg. Okay. So, here what we will consider? We will consider that electron and proton are at separation of r. Okay. So, let separation equal to r. So, I can say that Fe means electrical force, that is equal to K Q1 Q2 upon r square. In our case, Q1 means charge of electron, okay, that will be represented by E. Q2 charge of proton, that is also E. So K Q1 Q2 charge of electron, charge of proton, divide by r square. So K E square upon r square, right? This can be written as K E square upon r square. Okay. And Fg, gravitational force, is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. G m1, mass of proton, mass of electron upon r square. From this, I can say that Fe upon Fg is equal to Ke square by r square upon G mp me upon r square, which can be written as Ke square upon r square multiplied by r square upon G mp me. R square gets cancelled. So now I am left with K E square upon G mp me. So if I put the value, so Fe upon Fg is equals to, my K is 9 into 10 raised to 9. E, charge of electron, 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 whole square upon G, that is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11. Mass of proton is given, it is 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 27, and Me, mass of electron, 9.11 into 10 raised to minus 31. Okay. By calculation, I can get that Fe upon Fg is equal to 0.227 into 10 raised to 40, which can be written as 2.27 into 10 raised to 39 Newton. This is Fe by Fg. And we had calculated this thing for a proton and an electron. And an electron. Now we will consider second part for two electrons. Sorry, for two protons. Okay. So again I can write in the same way, Fe equal to K for two protons. Charge of proton, one proton is E. Charge of another proton is also E. Separation is R. Okay, that will give me Ke square upon r square. And Fg, G mass of proton, again mass of proton because we are considering two protons. They are separated by distance r square. So from this I can say that Fe upon Fg is equal to Ke square by r square multiplied by r square upon G mp mp. That gives me K square upon G mp mp. So now I have to put the values. Fe upon Fg is equal to 9 into 10 raised to 9, 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 whole square, divide by 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11, mass of proton 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 27, again mass of proton, so it is square. By calculation I can get Fe upon Fg is 1.238 into 10 raised to 36. This is Fe by Fg in case of two protons, for two protons. Okay. Now just look at the answer. Force ratio of Fe upon Fg is of the order of 10 raised to 39. Here it is of the order of 10 raised to 36. It means that electrical force is much stronger compared to this gravitational force. So this is first part of the question. Now let us consider the second part. In second part they have asked you, part B, estimate the acceleration of electron and proton due to electrical force. Here we have to consider only electrical force of their mutual attraction when they are 1 angstrom apart. Okay, so here I have to calculate acceleration of electron, acceleration of proton when the separation between electron and proton is 1 angstrom, that is 1 into 10 raised to minus 10 meter. So just try to understand. Here I am having one proton, here I am having one electron, separation between them is 1 angstrom. Okay, so what will happen? One is positively charged, another is negatively charged, so there will be force of attraction. Due to this attraction, there will be acceleration. Both will get accelerated towards each other. I have to find this acceleration. So, to find the acceleration, first of all, I have to find the force of attraction acting between them. So, I can say that force of electrical attraction acting between proton and electron is, I can say this F is equal to K, Q1, Q2. Q1 charge of proton, that is E. Q2 charge of electron, it is also E, upon R square. So it is K square upon R square. Let us put the value. 9 into 10 raised to 9, that is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 whole square, divide by R square, that is 1 into 10 raised to minus 10 whole square. That will give me 23.04 into 10 raised to minus 9 Newton. This is the force of attraction acting between proton and the electron. Okay. Now, we know that force equal to mass into acceleration. That means acceleration equal to force upon mass. So I can say that therefore acceleration of proton is a proton is equals to F upon mass of proton, and acceleration of electron is a electron, that is equals to F upon mass of electron. So now F is equals to 23.04 into 10 raised to minus 9 Newton, and mass of proton is given as 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 27, that will give me 1.38 into 10 raised to 19. As it is acceleration, it is meter per second square. And acceleration of electron, force is same, 23.04 into 10 raised to minus 9 divided by mass of electron, that is 9.11 into 10 raised to minus 31, which gives me 2.53 into 10 raised to 22 meter per second square. So acceleration of proton is of the order of 10 raised to 19, and acceleration of electron is of the order of 10 raised to 23. Okay. You can see electron is lighter compared to proton. As electron is lighter, its acceleration is more. Proton is heavier, its acceleration is less. So this is our illustration number 1.4. Now we have to discuss about illustration number 1.5. Let us start illustration number 1.5. The question says, a charged metallic sphere A is suspended by a nylon thread. Another charged metallic sphere B is held by an insulating handle, is brought close to A such that distance between their centers is 10 cm. Okay. So here sphere A is suspended and sphere B is held with insulating stand. Okay. Both are charged. Charge on them are not same, and the separation between these two spheres is 10 centimeter. So I can say that QA, charge on sphere A, QA is, let us say, Q1, and QB is equal to Q2. Separation between them R is equal to 10 centimeter. Okay, so in this situation, force acting between them is F equal to K Q1 Q2 upon R square. This is force acting in original situation. I will say this as equation number 1. Okay. Now what happens? The resulting repulsion of A is noted. Spheres A and B are touched by uncharged spheres C and D respectively, as shown in figure B. Okay. So what happens? Now this was my original sphere which was having charge Q1. Okay. Charge on this was Q1. Now it is kept in contact with an identical sphere C. Okay. So what happens? Initially it was having charge Q1. The sphere C was charged less. So when charge Q1 and 0 charge, when they are kept in contact, total charge Q1 is distributed among the two spheres equally, because both the spheres are identical. So now what happens? QA, charge on A, will become QA dash, and it will be half of the original one. Original was Q1 and it is equally distributed among two. So now new charge on A is Q1 by 2. Similarly, sphere B is brought in contact with another uncharged sphere D. So again the same thing will happen. Charge on B will be uniformly distributed among two. So new charge on B, that is QB dash, will be Q2 upon 2 because initially it was having charge Q2. Now new charge will become Q2 by 2, right? Okay. C and D are then removed and B is brought closer to A to distance of 5 centimeter between their centers as shown in figure C. Okay. Now what happens? You can see here. A and B. A is having charge Q1 by 2, B is having charge Q2 by 2 and separation between them is 5 centimeter. That means separation becomes half. So what you have to find? What is the expected repulsion of A on the basis of Coulomb's law? Spheres A and C and sphere B and D have identical size. Ignore the size of A and B in comparison to the separation between their centers. Okay. Now let us start this. Now separation between them R dash is equal to 5 centimeter. You can say this is R by 2. Okay. Now I have to find the new force. New force F dash will be K Q1 dash rather QA dash QB dash upon R dash. So it will be K QA dash is nothing but Q1 by 2. This is Q2 by 2, sorry, R dash square, and R dash is equal to R by 2 whole square. So this can be written as K Q1 Q2 by 4 upon this will be R square by 4. 4 gets cancel and we are left with K Q1 Q2 upon R square. This is your F dash. This is my equation number 2. From equation 1 and equation 2, we can say that from equation 1 and 2, we can say that F dash equal to F. Same force acts between them. This is illustration number 1.5.